Today with us is Mr. Vugar Usi, the Chief Operating Officer at MEXC Crypto Exchange. And I will try to ask some tricky questions because our audience mainly traders. So we want to know what's going on within the exchange and how it differs from all other exchanges. What makes it unique, top exchange? And by the way, I am having an account at MEXC and using it for trading. I like the range of coins you have. I think
more than 3,000.
I think you're top 2 or top 3 by the number of coins on the exchange. Is it right?
We are, because our main strategy is to list first, and the projects that we list are chosen, literally handpicked deliberately, because we want to bring these gems to people who are keen to invest in different projects. And usually we are the first one to list, and then other large exchanges follow us.
That's true.
We kind of become this bridge between the centralized exchanges and decentralized world, especially if you are not sure how to do, your Uniswaps, PancakeSwaps, and all these like hyper liquids, then you still want to discover the gems, you come to MEXC. And that's what makes us very unique. But still, we have a very high quality vetting process. We don't just randomly pick and choose projects, right? We look at projects that has a huge potential, and that's why I've seen a lot of projects that we listed a couple of weeks later. Our colleagues from different large exchanges listed them too, and we've seen 50x, even 100x growth.
Okay, and you said you're picking the projects. Could you very briefly explain me what is the main criteria for the listing and how much does it cost if it's not a secret?
Okay, I don't think it's a secret. It depends on the project, but usually the money or like the cost that goes to a listing is not a pay-to-play game. Basically, you don't. Let's say if the listing is $100,000, it doesn't mean you just give the money and we list your project, or another exchange doesn't do that. Usually that funds are used to airdrops or to trading competitions to make sure that people know your project and start using it. Because at MEXC, we serve 40 million users, right? And we need to use some marketing mechanism to put your project in front of the traders who will start trading. But honestly, the paying for a listing is the least of your concerns.
But many are doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Like payments, the part, whether you go to Binance, to Bitget, to Bybit, to MEXC ourselves, definitely you need that money to activate your marketing. But what is very important is we do a very like tight-knit kind of a due diligence process. We look who the founders are, what the project is promising, how much tokens are there, what is the lock, how many wallet holders are there, how much of the token supply is on the founders, how much of the token supply is in a single hand, what are the chances of possible rug pull, is the tokenomics even overall makes sense, and all these metrics come together, then we rank that project, and then we have this board that actually decides on which projects to list. Therefore, the power is not in a single person's hand either. That's how we were able to discover this very interesting projects that to come in the place, and that we are able to find these great founders. And for me personally, like because we list more than 3,000 projects, the listing mechanism is a way we support entrepreneurs who build in crypto, because today it's very hard, especially if you go to these like large exchanges. I have heard rumors that some large exchanges even charge 30% of a token supply to list, while we don't do that. And that is why the projects on MEXC, they are very sustainable and they're less likely to have a rug pull than in other place. And I've recently heard someone or in a community we're talking about a Binance curse, that apparently once the Binance lists the project start going down.
And I heard about that.
Yeah, you have to
Binance curse.
Binance curse. Like you go to crypto Twitter and you'll probably see that apparently like recently that Binance curse is like when Binance apparently lists a project, it goes down. And recently there were so many projects that Binance delisted them and they start going up. Therefore, it is surreal. Yes, it's crazy, right?
Vugar, you're speaking so much about listing process, and I understand the
You ask about listing.
I can talk about everything but you answered. But I'm interested, do you use AI to pick the projects, or is it more of a human picking?
Okay, AI is, we call it a co-pilot. For my entire team, I always say, AI is not here to make a decision. AI is here to help us to make that decision. We definitely use AI to collect a lot of data from social media to see how many % of the audience is actually real humans. how many of your followers are actually posting something, what entire ecosystem talks about you, even the content you put out, is it more AI generated or human generated? Because we need to make that decision. But whole decision making process is made by humans, and that is what I believe. Because as humans, we can, sometimes you go on a first date and you're like, okay, the person is perfect, but there's no chemistry. And I believe that sometimes we do need that, human empathy, human emotional intelligence to make the decision. Because most of the time we get this perfect pitch decks with perfect numbers, everything should make sense. But then you dig a little bit deeper, you see that maybe founder had a lot of failed projects, maybe you see some VCs that did the rug pull, or you sometimes look and see that mathematically things doesn't make sense. They have a lot of fake wallets that do fake wash trade, right? And all these things we can uncover with the help of AI, but we still need a human to make the last decision. And that's why we do a decision fully made by humans. And as I mentioned, it's not even a single human, it's a board that decides on which project to list.
Okay, and speaking about AI, most people are already using it. And I'm interested what kind of tools MEXC offers for traders in terms of AI. How they can increase their performance or knowledge, what super tools like no one else uses, they can use in MEXC, for example.
We have this suite of 7 products or 7 AI tools that come together, from making the proprietary data analysis to going to the media and doing that research. And I think MEXC is solidly, top 3 AI trading tools out there. From the AI grid, actually, you can, do a lot of automation to decision making. And I think if you are the one using AI for crypto today, you should definitely give a chance to MEXC, because AI is really, really important, right? To collect all this data to make a decision. But what I really love, because we are a zero fee trading platform, you actually not only make a good decision, but you can also conduct a very good trade, because it's about the speed, it's about the cost that comes in place. Yes, today most of the AI is kind of a subsidized, but think in a long term, if AI, I don't know, for every token you put a dollar sign in it, right? For using that AI particular tool, if you use more money to make an AI decision and still you will pay for your transaction, your cost will double. It means your revenues will go down. With our zero fee, if you pair it with AI, it means you can use our AI tools, but also you can employ another, big provider. You can, instead of paying transaction fee on MEXC, you can actually fund your AI decision making. Therefore, we offer users a more solid solution, not only to use our AI tools, but also fund the other AI tools that can connect to our platform.
Okay, you're speaking about the zero fees. So most exchanges earn from the fees. Why you differ? How you could build this model that allows you to offer zero fees? That's incredible.
Every year, traders pay around $50 to $60 billion in fees, right? It is one of the big revenue generators. At MEXC, our fees are 10 times less than any other large competitor in the market. Why we do this? 2 core important aspects. First and foremost, compared to any other big exchange, we don't do flashy sponsorships. We don't sponsor Formula One. We don't sponsor football teams. Instead of putting that money to marketing mechanism, we want to give back money to the customer. Last year, we gave around $1.1 billion, or our customers save $1.1 billion instead of paying to the fees. That is one of the biggest reasons why people choose MEXC, because instead of going and giving or spending a lot on the fees, and then that exchange takes that money and goes to sponsor big events, we don't do that. This is our marketing mechanism, and we look at it more of like a marketing investment. Second important factor is that, for example, we list 3,000 tokens. Almost 200 of them is zero fee, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. We do a lot of zero fee campaigns with our US stock products, both gold and silver. We do a lot of campaigns around that. Even for petrol, I know that it's a very hot topic right now.
It is.
Therefore, zero fee is more of a way we kind of give back to our community. We see that, okay, today people tend to talk around oil, petroleum. Let's do a zero fee. Let's give back to the community. Tomorrow it's gold. The other day it's US stocks. And that is what makes us very, very different. For the next year, we will try to bring more and more products. Recently, we did our entire spot market in the zero fee. You could just trade any token in spot market in a zero fee, because I believe this is how we kind of lower the barrier to entry, especially in this market condition. I don't want our users to go and pay a lot of fees. And if you think about like who really cares about the fees, two big groups of the traders. Either you are a small trader who trades, I don't know, $100, $200. You don't want to pay that fee because it's kind of ruins your entire economics. Or you're a large whale who conducts $1 million of trade. You don't want to pay $50,000 in a commission to an exchange. Therefore, I've seen more and more and more users migrating to MEXC just because of this, because they want to save every penny in dollar, especially in this market condition. Maybe
No, I fully agree with them, because when I trade on different exchanges, I will not mention them, you feel that it really hits your wallet. It really does. And if you swing trading, these commissions make me go, whoa, no, come on. I could have earned so much money. So yeah, these low commissions, I think, is the key. And this is what most users underestimate. They think, okay, I will pay bigger fee. It's not it is a problem. Believe me, it's a huge problem if you trade long term.
yeah. Also, like if you are using another exchange, go and then put, how much fees you paid a month or a year, and then you'll see how huge the number is, and then think what you could do with that money, right? Let's say an average trader probably pays at least $50,000 in a year. If you are like an active trader, it means every year you pay one full Bitcoin as a commission. And imagine what you could do with that money. And I think that is the difference that MEXC brings, because as I mentioned, like we are kind of giving back to the community instead of taking that money and spending in a flashy sponsorships, partnerships. I'm not against that, but that is kind of what works for us today.
Okay, now, you've mentioned about the gold, oil, right? And I would like to talk about traditional finance, because this is what it is. There is a lot of liquidity in the crypto market, but somehow it's not going towards altcoins, if you know what I mean. I don't see that. And I think the next big trend could be the traditional finance, which is opening through crypto exchanges, which makes it very simple. And I would like to ask you first your thoughts on that. What's the potential? And second, how MEXC is moving towards traditional finance, what kind of products you already have, and what are the plans?
First and foremost, let me tell you, there will not be any alt season. I'm sorry, there will not be any alt season. And listen to me, because previously the logic was Bitcoin rallies, right? Then we lock some profits, we go to altcoins. Today, thanks to tokenized assets, every platform is a super app. At MEXC, we are becoming trade everything platform. We open the doors to infinite opportunities. For the user, it doesn't mean if it's a meme coin. It doesn't make any difference if it's some altcoin. It doesn't make any difference if it's a gold, silver, or US stock of any kind. As long as market moves, user can make money. Especially in derivatives market, if you can do 10, 20, even 100, even up to 500x leverage, right? Then it doesn't make any difference what you are trading.
True, that's exactly true. I would like to point it out, because the crypto market has been extremely boring. No liquidity, no moves, pure drops, only drops for years. And it's, I mean, it's enough. And I'm so on to the traditional finance.
Yeah, but also think about two different kind of I call it like a ping pong, right? For people who started like a Gen Zs and young people who started trading crypto only, now they have this great opportunity to explore stocks and everything else
markets,
without going to the brokers, like they're doing in a single platform. And here you have some logic, right? You can go to the quarterly reports, you see what, markets move and what kind of decision you can make. There's more logic rather than a narrative. You can do analysis, technical analysis come in place. It becomes a very interesting market. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have these institutions, you have traditional clients who were doing a lot of trading, like a stock trading, S&P 500s, different ETFs. Now they can hedge against that with a Bitcoin. They come and explore crypto. We kind of put both generations together, and for the end of the at the end of the day, for the user, it doesn't mean much what they're trading, right? Is it some frog meme coin or is it a Tesla stock? As long as the market moves, they can do any trade. And they can,
Volatility provides
yeah,
opportunity.
it's an opportunity every day. But also, look how the market is moving, right? One political figure, very authoritative, he does a tweet, market moves.
We saw it, yeah.
Another day,
yesterday.
war starts, market moves. I don't know, 2 weeks ago, someone told the oil will go to $200. No one will believe, right? Green energy and all this narrative, and like the petrol bill at $60 for 2-3 years. Suddenly, we're in a very different place. And it will be very sad if we took this opportunity from an investor, because from an investor point of view, you have to be there fast, you have to be there first. And what MEXC does brings you that speed, right? Everything in one platform. You don't have to move from one provider to another, and plus 0 fees on top of it. You can just move your money where the action is. You can trade gold, next day petroleum, third day Bitcoin, over and over and over again. But then you can also hedge your entire portfolio. You look at your portfolio, you are like, okay, now I think, this is happening, electricity price is going up, maybe Bitcoin will go up, or other way around. I don't know, with AI, GPUs, maybe you want to hedge Bitcoin versus Nvidia stocks, right? You can do so many things in one place, and you can have a full view rather than having it in 3 different places. And I think that is what makes very exciting, but also makes a very exciting future for platforms like us, because today, Bitget doesn't only compete with your Binances, Bybits, I don't know, KuCoins and Krakens on a crypto end. We also compete with your Monzos and Revolut, with your Robinhood, with your even Nasdaq today, right? We are a direct competitor because we are bringing you that opportunity and more.
And how many instruments I can get now, traditional instrument, financial instrument to trade? Like, is it 100, 200, 500? How many of them? What is the choice? How big it is? Speaking of traditional finance.
When we look at the US stocks, there are a couple of 300 of them. We are adding more. We are adding MT5.
Oh, you don't have still?
Yeah, we are adding them,
Okay.
MT5. And we have almost all metals, mainly gold, silver, I think copper, platinum, yeah, like almost all. Synthetic commodities, oil, petroleum, and then more and more is coming. And then on top, all the RWAs. And I think it depends what an interest, because whatever is tokenized, we can list them. Whatever tokenized, you can trade it.
So the future seems to be like amazing, because in the future, it seems everything going to be tokenized one on the other way.
Yeah,
So you can
will...
basically, it means like your platform can become, I mean, it's going to be huge, is it? You can trade someone's house at the end of the day.
I hope you trade your own house, not someone's house.
No, just
yeah, like I believe like in next couple of years, we will see a lot of tokenized real world assets. I know that some Middle East states already doing it. It's predicted that the tokenized real estate should reach around 7 to 10% of the real estate market. It's billions and billions and even trillions of dollars. But today we're already proudly serve 40 million users. And my strategy for MEXC to become your next finance super app, to trade everything, anywhere, at any time, meaning it is your gateway to infinite opportunities. You don't have to think when is the alt season, because even if there's no alt season, there is opportunity with gold. If there's no gold, there's opportunity with anything else that is tokenized. And when we look into this, it will be about everything will be tokenized, everything have a ticker, and everything that goes up, even down, you can make money on that. Because especially if you day trade, I believe your audience does a lot, right? As a trader, you don't care where the market is, right? You care as long as market moves. Faster it moves, faster you make money.
All this tokenization means that liquidity is definitely going to pour there. And as you said, like there might be no alt season as we know it, at least. But what's going to happen when we'll have the Clarity Act? Do you think there will be no liquidity for the altcoins whatsoever? Or we should at least expect some potential for these altcoins?
Okay, look what's happening with prediction market, right?
Poly
market. At MEXC, we have our own prediction market. There's Kalshi. And even if there is no like a necessary liquidity on, let's say, particular altcoin, what if that altcoin moves to prediction market? what if we say, will this altcoin or will this project do XYZ? And this is my $10. And then someone comes, even their founders could be, right? And then market will kind of resolve on yes or no. And that could bring a new era for the way we trade altcoins. But also it could go any other direction. In my opinion, we shouldn't think on a project level anymore. We should not think about like a chunk of things like what is even altcoin, because we have seen ZK or Zcash or different like a certain like a subgroups doing some interesting action in the
Privacy
market.
coins.
Yeah, privacy coins or another thing. And I still believe that we will be seeing a very good projects coming in place, doing these big leaps forward, doing a lot of price action. But overall, just blindly having this saga for something, I think that is very, 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 very kind of a thing of a past. But also think about gold, think about what happened with silver, think about what will have happened with petroleum, right? 2-3 weeks ago, we wouldn't even think about
I
that.
forecasted it half a year ago, of all of it. And I forecasted 2 days ago that the conflict in the Middle East will be frozen. And it just happened.
You're not a fortune teller.
No, the price tells you that. You know, if you learn, if you study, you will see that. I mean, it's priced in. The market knows that it will happen, and it happens. So, I mean, this is truly opportunity for those who know how to trade. Why not? Especially with all this traditional finance on MEXC, I think this is a great opportunity. And Mr. Usi, what would you recommend for new traders? What would you be your top advice for the person who just starts trading crypto?
First and foremost, I always say, if you start trading, your first goal should be how to beat inflation in your country. This way, you will not lose money. Your second goal should be to beat S&P 500 or roughly to get 10% return on investment. If you can do that, it means you are already on the right track. Third, real estate. I believe if you're able to beat real estate returns in the city you live, you are already a genius, right? Because traditionally, investing in a real estate is the safest form of an investment that was like a continuous growth. If you can do these three things, you're already profitable. Next, in my opinion, still the king of investments is Bitcoin. If you can do as good as Bitcoin or beat Bitcoin, you are a genius.
Never sell your Bitcoin.
Yeah, if you can't beat Bitcoin, at least buy a Bitcoin, right? And I think that is kind of my fourth step guide to investing or trading. Inflation, S&P 500, real estate, Bitcoin. If you can do all of these four in every step, you come better and better and better. And lastly, if you can beat Bitcoin in the returns, it means you're a genius trader. You have to do it full time. If not, dollar cost averaging, buying and accumulating Bitcoin can be your safest option.
So dollar cost averaging Bitcoin means you believe in Bitcoin, in technology, and do you think it will become that digital gold in this era of geopolitical turbulence and not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow?
That's a very good but very tricky question. I always say, for me, dollar cost average is great when you buy, but it's not great when you sell. And I always tell people to lock their profits, because you can always buy a Bitcoin and you always can sell a Bitcoin. The trick is how to buy it low and sell it high, and not the other way around. But overall, I am the maximalist, but also I believe that you should be able to lock in your profits, especially if you've been accumulating for a long time. Let's say work in 2-3 year halving cycles where you can predict where you bought the low, and if you made a 2-3x on Bitcoin, then you can definitely lock in your profits and come back by the next cycle. Therefore, I believe now is a very great time to buy, because we are almost like 2-3 times lower than the peak. I don't think we'll be go lower than that, but also I believe there's a huge opportunity coming in a couple of years. Therefore, dollar cost average when you buy, dollar cost average when you sell, lock in your profits, but definitely buy more Bitcoin if you can.
I completely agree with Vugar, and I will share with you my forecast. Within 10 years, Bitcoin will cost over $1 million. And I would like to hear your forecast if you have one. What do you think will be price of Bitcoin in 10 years?
Honestly, I don't want to put a dollar price, because in 10 years, maybe $1 million wouldn't be worth much. But I have more optimistic prediction. I believe in 10 years, you'll be able to buy at least one plane with that money. Let's think an airplane. I don't think it's like an A380, right? Maybe like a small, nice plane or a yacht, or maybe at least a 2-bedroom apartment in London. Yeah, you should be able to buy that with one Bitcoin.
Thank you very much. It was very insightful.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed, that
Thank you.
interview. Very,
Thank you
very
for having me.